Diamonds are among the most expensive luxuries in the modern world. But why? Most of you might be thinking the free market establishes the fundamental relationship between supply and demand, but this is not that simple. For most metals and stones, their perceived rarity is the leading indicator of their value in the market. Gold is relatively rarer than diamonds, but gold is the 15th most valuable material on Earth, whereas diamonds sits in the top 5, behind the likes of Californium and Antimatter. Gold is a heavy metal whose formation predates our solar system. According to scientific theory, gold was formed due to neutron stars and supernova collisions, and even the sun's nuclear fusion reactions cannot generate enough energy to synthesize gold. Gold's rarity stems from the unique conditions required for its genesis. The rapid neutron capture process, also known as the R process, creates half of the atomic nuclei heavier than iron, including gold. Correspondingly, the P process and S process produce the other half. During the formative phases of our planet, gold sank to the Earth's core due to the bombardment of foreign entities. In the Earth's depths, geologists believe they have found gold dated more than 4.5 billion years ago. After that elaborate cosmic process, gold finally reached our planet as the debris of dead stars. While its origins and the circumstances under which it was formed are unique, the metal is more than a scarce resource. It is helpful because of its malleability, ductility, and corrosion resistance. Gold's properties make it a coveted material for electronics manufacturing. For instance, solid-state electronic devices use low currents and voltages. Gold allows these low currents to move freely since it does not corrode easily. On the other hand, diamonds have the highest thermal conductivity and hardness, which facilitates industrial cutting and polishing. Various industrial drills and blades have a small amount of diamonds on their tips. Their hardness helps cut or grind other materials. Because diamonds are hard and vibrate easily at high speed, they are also used in top-tier audiophile equipment. While gold is much rarer, diamonds are a formation of one of the most common elements, carbon. Diamonds are highly pressurized carbon, so it is relatively easier to find them in nature. Carbon, buried into the depths of the Earth, burns under high temperature, approximately 2200 degrees Fahrenheit, and is pressurized by 5 billion pascals under 725,000 pounds. The resulting diamonds arrive at the surface due to volcanic eruptions. Here, they are cooled down to form natural diamonds. They may be abundant in nature compared to gold, but large diamonds are pretty scarce. A significant factor in the exorbitant prices of diamonds is that genuinely great diamonds are exceptionally tough to find. Most jewelers have not and will never see a gem-quality diamond. High-quality gems are so rare that only 53 places worldwide have enough diamonds for commercial mining. The capital required to go into diamond mining is also astronomical. Mining companies invest millions of dollars in setting up mines that generally do not have a lifespan of over 2 decades. Few mines yield great results right away. Mines are incredibly costly to operate because relentless labor yields meager outputs. On average, around 250 tons of earth must be moved to find one single carat of diamond. That 1 carat gets reduced to 1/3 after polishing, a yield of about 30%. It is pretty uncommon for diamond yields to reach 70% or above. Cutting diamonds is equally taxing on capital. Cutters spend large amounts of money to buy rough diamonds to create the polished output. Once they complete the polished stone, they auction it off or sell it to a contracted jeweler. The jeweler buys it from the cutter at ridiculous prices and sells it at a low markup, usually around 5 to 10%. The jeweler also has to store these high-value materials in a reputable place, for which he will require further expenses. The entire pipeline, from the mines to the retailer, requires hefty capital. High expenditures in the supply chain convert into high prices in the market. Another thing to note is that gold can be theoretically created in a lab, but even significant investments in timely, complex processes yield very low outputs, nullifying the purpose. On the other hand, by using graphite, one can create synthetic diamonds in a lab. For industrial purposes, diamonds are often synthesized in controlled environments. Despite their different manufacturing and industrial applications, the two materials boast an impressive economic resume. Still, the monetary value of diamonds beats out gold by far in the market. Let's find out why. Bonds and stocks are always great options, but in times of recessions and financial instability, people revert to more stable options, like gold and diamonds. The two materials have been safe long-term investments throughout the previous centuries, regardless of economic uncertainty. Whether the market is bearish or bullish, it is rarely a bad idea to invest in material wealth, as it will most likely be priced higher in the future. The price of a 1-carat diamond ranges from $2,500 to $18,000, depending on the quality, whereas 1 gram of gold is worth around $60. This comparison shows that a 1-carat diamond can be priced 40 times higher than 1 gram of gold. You might be wondering why gold has a clear price point but not a diamond. Gold has a long history as a currency. For a long time, gold was used for minting coins. The value of coins equated to the value of gold in those days. But traders found a way to manipulate and pollute the coins, so currencies were standardized. Today, gold serves as a reliable store of value and is one of the most significant financial assets in the world. People invest in it because it does not diminish in value and is an excellent strategic hedge against inflation. The global price of gold moves daily based on the broader economic conditions. Gold exists in an elementary form, and its valuation is often straightforward, which is why it can be bought and sold on the stock market at standardized market rates. If we go back a few centuries, the foreign reserves of a country's currency were tied to its gold reserves. While gold has a standard price, diamonds are valued, at least in the commercial luxury and jewelry market, based on their properties. The first thing to note is that diamond, unlike gold, is not precisely an element. Diamonds have a rigid crystal structure, making them a solid form of carbon element. Ideally, if a substance is made of only one element, it is considered pure. But diamonds seldom form under such controlled conditions. Regardless of how pure and clean a diamond looks, it probably has a fair share of impurities. Boron, nitrogen, oxygen, silicon, and other elements are found in diamonds because the material is created under haphazard conditions in nature. It is possible to create diamonds wholly made up of carbon, but you would need to foster specific lab conditions. While one can create a pure diamond in a controlled environment, it is near impossible to find a pure diamond in nature. Because the structure of diamonds can vary so much, experts rely on a system of 4 C's to evaluate their worth. 4 C's refers to 4 significant features of diamonds: cut, clarity, color, and carat. Most people think that a diamond appraisal is an evaluation. An appraisal gets you a receipt, the value of the diamond. Appraising diamonds is not easy, and appraisers are professionally trained for the job. However, an appraisal is not an evaluation. A gemologist carries out the evaluation using a gemological microscope and learns the details of its cut, color, and clarity grades. The 4 C's come in handy here. The first significant aspect of a diamond's value is its weight, how many carats it is. 1 carat equals 200 milligrams. Just like the amount of any expensive material, the more the better. The second quality to look at is the color. White diamonds can be white, slightly brown, light yellow, gray, or colorless. The minor color discrepancies are graded from D, completely colorless, to Z, noticeably colorful. Lower grades allow easier passage of light through it, rendering it more sparkly and costly. Colored diamonds are graded on different scales, and higher color density makes them more valuable. Then we arrive at clarity. Clarity refers to the blemishes or inclusions in a diamond. Lesser inclusions means more purity. And finally, the cut, the only property that depends solely on the craftsman. The grace of a diamond's cutting determines 3 things: the brightness, the scatter, and the sparkle. The brightness reveals how much a diamond reflects white light. The scatter tells how much the white light disperses into a rainbow, and internal reflections determine the sparkle. Also known as a diamond's brilliance, fire, and scintillation, the 3 properties define the cut of a diamond. Other factors like girdle thickness and culet can further affect the price of a diamond. Different grading labs may give the same diamond different scores. A D-graded diamond is extremely rare. This lack of pure diamonds means that the price of diamonds increases exponentially from simpler stones to exceptional gems. Another aspect of diamond prices is the sorting and cutting of rough pieces. Turning a rough stone into a highly valued diamond requires creative decisions, which may or may not affect business. For instance, one rough piece can produce a single gem or multiple diamonds. The cutter has to make the crucial decision that will impact the business. And cutting is a very delicate process, which means that the cutter can make the correct business decision but still end up with ruined stones in his lap. Now that we have concluded that diamonds are largely impure and their valuation differs for various reasons, you might think that gold is pure, making it easier to calculate and estimate its value. Well, not exactly. 80% of the world's gold supply goes to jewelers and goldsmiths, but they rarely require pure gold. The purity of gold is symbolized using the karat unit, which is different from the carat. A carat determines how many parts of gold an alloy has. For instance, 12-karat gold consists of 12 parts of gold in an alloy of 24 parts. So gold-plated jewelry will have a relatively low gold count and as a result a lower price. Jewelers usually do not require 24-karat gold because it is relatively soft, so they use silver, iron, nickel, copper, or aluminum to form a mixture. By mixing it with other elements, the material becomes hard and durable. Both gold and diamond can be pure and impure. But while gold's value is pretty simple to calculate, the price of a diamond can vary. Conversely, gold prices go up and down regularly based on market shifts. However, diamonds are not traded in the same vein, so their price does not fluctuate much. For the most part, diamonds steadily increase in value over time. The pipeline of the diamond market is exceptionally cruel at every turn, making it a nightmare to get into the business. Because of the lack of a standard rate, banks rarely give out loans. Banks would need huge investments to calculate the collaterals for diamonds, so they are in no rush to get into the diamond market. The scarcity of great gems in nature overwhelms the rarity of gold. However, while gold prices fluctuate due to market forces, diamond prices do not. Diamonds are priced according to industry standards, and it is a complicated and largely inaccessible industry. How would you like to get a deeper understanding of history, impress your friends, and predict the future more accurately based on past events? If this sounds like something you might be into, then check out the brand new Captivating History Book Club by clicking the first link in the description. Also, grab your free Mythology Bundle ebook while it's still available. All links are in the description. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.